Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building a Brand vlog. This one, big number 43. Now, before I dive in and get into today's topic, which is influencer marketing and answering some of your questions, I wanted to tell you and show you something really cool that happened. It's been a busy day. I actually was in a store earlier filming a makeover video for the company DXL, formerly Casual Male XL, formerly Destination XL, now just DXL. I think the rebranding. Anyway, I get there and there's this sign at the front door. It was a sign that said, "Makeover, video in progress, please continue shopping. We apologize for any inconvenience, DXL." And when I saw this, I'm like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing ever. It was so cool that I stole it. I'm gonna actually hang it on my wall somewhere. But the deal is, and why that's so kind of cool for me, is that all the videos that I've done over the years, I've filmed like the Alpha M project where we actually fly guys into Atlanta and do makeovers on them. The whole deal is all of those shots that you see me actually in the store filming or getting filmed in a store, they're all stolen shots. None of these companies, if I actually called up and asked for like, "Hey, can I film a video in there?" None of them, and when I say none, I mean absolutely not one, would say, "Sure, come on in." The only exception was JCPenney in season 2. If you missed the Alpha M project or have no idea what I'm talking about, it's a cool makeover series that my buddy Christian actually films. It's just me and him doing these videos. I'll link to a few actually. I'll link to all three. There's one page on my website that you can see everything. I'll link that down in the description. But anyway, today was the first time I was actually asked, and not only asked, I was paid to come in and actually do this video. And so it was just it was a really cool thing for me. But you didn't tune in to hear about my amazing day filming in DXL. But the reason I bring it up, not only was it super cool, it sort of ties in perfectly to what we're talking about today in terms of influencer marketing. The only reason I was asked to come in and do this, it is because I am an influencer. Influencer is sort of the new buzzword that advertising agencies are using and some of these brands are using to refer to guys like me. People who have an audience in a specific demographic. And because my demographic was very similarly aligned with DXL's, they're like, "Hey, we want you talking about our brand." And so that's how I actually came to have this opportunity. But it ties perfectly into today's talk. We are going to be discussing influencer marketing, but first, let me answer some of your questions. Patriots fan 123 wants to know, what is the age range for the Tiege Hanley products? And the answer, Tiege Hanley products, is pretty much any age. We didn't intend on 6-year-olds using this stuff, but pretty much if you want to use and take care of your skin, regardless of what age you are, it's for you. There is no age limit or restriction. If you're under 18 and you want to buy it, you need to get your parents' permission before just going and we don't want the calls, because funny story, I get so many calls over at Pete and Pedro from parents like, "Who is this Pete and Pedro?" I'm like, dude, does your kid watch YouTube? Such a simple question, such a complex answer. Anyway, let's move on to question number 2. Jonathan Riley wants to know if the Tiege Hanley products are good for black skin, and the answer is yeah. Joe Adams says, "Aaron, it kind of sounds like there are issues since your line is so popular. I love the line and the level 3 box is fantastic. I have my fingers crossed that financing can be worked out." Don't sweat it. Financing has been worked out. We're still working it out, but don't worry. We have things under control. We've come way too far to let a little issue like financing ruin the day. We just had to get creative, and I think we've gotten some solutions worked out. But something interesting that I'm going to diverge a little bit and tell you something for you to think about if you are in a business or a company or starting a business that does require packaging to be made overseas, like the Tiege Hanley packaging. There's the Chinese New Year that's coming up. Well, guess what happens? Everything shuts down for it's a while. And so even though we just placed our next big order, we need to be ready for that next order. And so if it falls in that time frame of when sort of everything is shut down during Chinese New Year, we're super screwed. And so what we're actually having to do is come up with more money to place an even larger order just for the packaging. This doesn't mean that we have to fill it though. It does, however, mean that we've got to store the packaging. And this is one of the lessons that I learned kind of from the company, the Grooming Lounge. I'm good friends with the guys over at the Grooming Lounge, and they have their own line of products, Grooming Lounge Solution products. Well, I was actually asked to come up and do a video, and I toured their warehouse and did a whole video with them. And one of the things, I'm looking at this big warehouse, and I see all these boxes on these big sort of shelves. And I asked Mike, I go, Mike, what are all these boxes? Are they full of products? They're like, no, it's full of packages. None of those packages actually have any product in them. They're just there because we need to fill them when we need to fill them, and we can't afford to wait necessarily for the fulfillment process and the lead time that it takes, and kind of like we're dealing with here at Tiege Hanley. It's a lot easier if you've got packaging on hand and just basically say to the lab, hey, there's packaging that's coming, we need X number of units filled. And so we're actually in the process of getting ready by, I think it's October 1st, we need to have the order in because it takes X number of weeks in order to get it. But yeah, we're getting ready to place a monster, mega monster order of packaging just so that we're ready in case our next order or the need for a next order falls within the span of time that everything shuts down for the Chinese New Year. I found that incredibly interesting, and I would like to give a big Tiege Hanley shout out and good job to Rob for figuring that out. He called me the other day and he's like, we got to do something. I go, what's that? And he told me. Anyway, I found that fascinating. I hope you did. Next up, Fatma Hussein wants to know, how do you know when you have enough money to start the business you want? I don't know that you'll ever know. You need to plan, you need to do some projections, you need to sort of sit down and itemize and figure out how much money you think you need, and then multiply by 2. And that's pretty much the amount of money you're going to probably need in order to roll things out. But you need to make sure that you really think things through. Think about things like inventory, overhead, carrying cost, and marketing. And so now I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into influencer marketing. So influencer marketing, this is something that is kind of a new term like I talked about. It sort of came about in the past, I would say probably 3 to 5 years. You never heard that term before. But influencer marketing has been going on for ages and ages, ages and ages and ages. It just was probably called something else back in the day. Anytime you have a celebrity and they endorse something, that's essentially a form of, on a very high level, of influencer marketing. But the way that we refer to it today is basically having to do with social media. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, I guess, Twitter. If you basically have an audience and a company can actually have you promote something, you technically are an influencer. So back in the day, when influencer marketing just kind of was getting off the ground, companies would email you and say, hey, we love your vlog, we love your whatever, let us send you some free product. And if you would, why don't you talk about it and give a discount code and let your audience have it at a deal. And at the time, all these influencers, this was new. The fact that they were getting free product, it's like if I got a free shirt, I was like, sweet, absolutely, I'll talk about it. And so this went on for a while, and to be completely honest, a lot of advertising agencies and PR firms, not so much agencies, but PR firms still think that it goes on. And so every day I will be contacted by a PR firm like, hey, would you mind if we sent you this? If you're doing a story about this, how about you feature it? Unfortunately for them and their companies that they're actually representing, and by the way, if you're using a PR firm, understand this, that influencer marketing doesn't work that way. Everybody sort of knows their value now because they've been approached by so many zillions of brands. And so gone are the days of free publicity, free press. So if you're a business, if you're a company and you're wanting to get into influencer marketing or have your favorite influencer promote your product or brand, you need to have some cash ready to pay them. Another way that influencers are or were compensated, it still goes on, is affiliate programs. You've heard of affiliate programs. This is the ideal situation for a brand. It allows you to basically have an influencer sign up on your program, and then for every sale they make, they get a percentage. But basically the way that this works is that they're not out anything, and if you don't promote or sell or anything, they don't have to pay you anything. And so, for the influencer, the better job they do, or the more people that buy, the more incentivized they are because, hey, that's cash in their pocket. Everybody's happy. The brand is happy. The influencer's happy. But that also is starting to sort of go away. It's beginning to look a lot more like standard advertising or marketing. All right, you don't go to, ABC Network and say, hey, I'd like to run this commercial, but I only want to pay you if people buy. It doesn't work like that. They actually pay you up front, and then you do the video, you do whatever. Hopefully you're following along. The other thing that is happening is, for some companies, they'll sort of do like a hybrid. They'll pay you something up front. They might not be able to afford your fee, but they'll sort of do like a hybrid deal where they'll pay you something, but they'll also have you sign up for an affiliate deal. Or in some cases, they'll do and get even more creative where we'll give you something, a little bit of money now. We will have you be an affiliate, so we'll pay you on each sale. Plus, if you hit a certain point or a certain level of sales, we'll actually pay you a bonus on top of that. There's all sorts of different ways that you can approach an influencer. But the one thing that you need to know is that gone are the days of free product promotion. Unless, of course, that influencer just, honest to God, just really likes or uses your brand or product, and then they're going to talk about it for free. Like The Gap has never paid me $1, and I promote their jeans, their shorts, their products all over the place. Suit Supply, another one. They have never paid me. I just love their product. I think it's a great value, and so I talk about it all the time. Starbucks coffee. They haven't called either, but I love Starbucks. And so there's sort of like a balancing act. Now, the one thing that is starting to become more of an issue is the disclosure. Disclosure, a fancy name for letting the audience know that it is a paid product placement or endorsement. Now, you technically should be letting your audience know if you were paid for the product endorsement or you got something for free. So if I send somebody a Tiege Hanley box for free and they end up talking about it, they technically should let everybody know, hey, this is a paid promotion. The issue arises, and a lot of influencers lose credibility because they hide the fact that it was given to them or it is a promotion. And that is something that, for myself, I have been very diligent. For one, I only promote products that I truly like. I am approached every day by multiple brands and products and companies that want me to promote their products. And some of them bring a monstrous, big, super big checkbook. But at the end of the day, I can't do a deal if I don't actually like the product or brand. But I am one of those people. I do a lot of promotions. I love doing promotions. I love integrating a product or brand into a story or a video. And so, I've done everything from, underwear to ball powder to sex toys. You name it, I have talked about it. And I love doing it. If it's a great product. If it sucks, I can't put lipstick on a pig and say that it's a supermodel. It's still a pig and lipstick. And so I've had to be very disciplined and diligent in really vetting the products that I talk about. Now, that being said, I've been called out before. They're like, oh, you recommended, Modern Tailor and they screwed my shirt up and you shouldn't do promotions for companies that suck. And my answer is, I've had nothing but an amazing experience with them. If you had a bad experience, I'm sorry. Just because you don't like the product doesn't mean that I don't like the product and think it's solid. And so you really just need to do the best job you can and be as honest as you can. Back in the day, all of the mommy bloggers got into a lot of trouble because they were starting to talk about products that were actually paid product promotions, but they weren't saying anything. The FCC came in and was like, you guys can't do that. It's false advertising. It's misleading. You don't want your audience to think that you like something that you're just getting paid for. And so they really cracked down, the FCC, on a lot of the vloggers. YouTube is still kind of that wild, wild west. People are still trying to figure out what the laws are surrounding, promotions, endorsements, and letting people know. But in every video that I do that is a promotion, right in the description, underneath the clickable link, and if you hit that link, that whole thing, there's an asterisk that says I would like to send a special alpha and thank you to X, Y, and Z company for sponsoring this great video. I let everybody know. I never ever say in a video that something is not sponsored. If it is, I often just will say they reached out or I partnered with, but there are ways to letting people know without saying they paid me. Now, let's talk about money, because that's why you're actually watching this still. How much can an influencer make for promoting a product or brand? And the answer is, it is all over the board. The higher your views, and here's the other thing, it really boils down to view count. It's not necessarily how many subscribers. Subscribers are nice and they make you feel good, but it's all about those video views. We've talked in other videos, when we talked about marketing, about CPM and how CPM, it's how many your cost per 1,000 impressions. Well, even though it doesn't really relate, and a video view is much more valuable than an impression of an ad that just shows on a website, they still try and value the influencer or the video based on that model, which is kind of tough. Now, in terms of how much I get paid, it really basically depends on the product and what I'm going to be doing. I've made anywhere from like a few $100 to multiple thousands of dollars. Just to blow your mind, a lot of these female beauty bloggers and young bloggers that do makeup reviews and stuff like that, some of these haul videos that you see where they'll talk about 10 products, oh my gosh, I just got this lipstick from Tiege Hanley, it's amazing, and oh my god, did you check out the packaging on this? They can make upwards of $100,000 from that one haul. They get $10,000 per product mentioned. Not like an entire video, I'm talking a mention. It's insanity. The other issue is that it's very difficult to track influencer marketing. Now, some of them will have a trackable link or code so they can see who goes through. Another good idea is to actually have a discount code associated with that specific video. Those two ways are really the only ways of tracking the effectiveness of a specific campaign or platform or program. Man, I'm talking a lot, aren't I? Is any of this helping or making sense? I feel like I've talked for a super long time. What I think would be a good idea, I've talked a lot. I know you have questions. In the comment section, let me know. Next week, I will sort of pick up a little bit where I left off and answer some more questions and go a little bit deeper even into this realm of influencer marketing. It's super fascinating and it's incredibly amazing. There is nothing as effective as a YouTube video in terms of a promotion, but you got to figure out who the right influencer is. If I'm doing let's say, you wouldn't come to me for a lipstick promotion. It doesn't make sense. I don't talk about lipstick. I don't have a female audience. The majority of my audience, as in 97%, are men. So if you're looking to promote a product for a guy that's between the ages of, say, 16 and 45, it's 90% of my audience. I'm your guy. But if it's something else, then there's probably a better influencer out there for you. So influencer selection is incredibly important. All right, I could talk about this for days. I love talking about it. It's fascinating. So guys, if you've got any influencer question, please, down in the comment section, let me know. If you've got any more Tiege Hanley questions, let me know. We'll pick this up next week and keep rocking and rolling down the influencer track. Until then, I would like to say thank you. Rob, Kelly, the chemist, myself, we all could not be any more thrilled with the progress and the state of Tiege Hanley. We also couldn't do it without you. Know this, that Tiege Hanley's success is 100, not 100, it's a partnership. It's us, it's you, it's we. We could not do this without you, and we wouldn't want to do it without you. So thank you so much for your support, your emails, your messages, your subscriptions. Guys, if you haven't tried Tiege Hanley yet, there's a link down below to Tiege.com. I am super caffeinated, as you can tell, and better wrap this video up. Gentlemen, we love you. See you next week.